My name is Clara, I'm 32 years old, and I've never felt more betrayed and alive at the same time. You might think those are strange words to hear together, but stick with me, by the end of this, you'll understand why. I grew up believing my life was a comfort zone, loving parents, laugh-filled dinners, the works. My father, a man of few words but big gestures, always whispered to me, "You're the bravest of us." And my mother, bless her heart, she'd freeze me in her gaze and say, "You're enough." That's the image I carried with me into adulthood, until that fateful funeral, where everything changed. It was raining softly that morning, a gray sky that felt like nature's tears, and I stood in the church, gripping my mother's hand, feeling her warmth and fragility entwined with mine. I watched my brothers, those who were supposed to be my allies, standing tall, stiff, and cold. My chest tightened as the preacher spoke, almost drowned out by my own heartbeat. And then came the moment, the reading of the will. I leaned forward, telling myself, "Clara, breathe. You're about to receive something from the man who believed in you." But instead of hearing those reassuring words, I was met with a shutter slamming cold. "We've decided, you're not mentioned." Two words that hit like a fist, "not mentioned." And there stood the lawyer, clearing his throat, eyes flicking between the page and me as though trying to muster the courage to say more. In that instant, I felt as if my entire world, the love, the memory, the legacy, had been pried out of my hands. Pause here, dear viewer. If you've ever felt invisible or erased by someone you loved, do me a favor, go ahead and click that like button, share this story with someone who needs to hear that they matter. And if you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribed, because this story isn't just mine, maybe it's yours too, or someone else's, and we're not alone in this. The air in that room felt thick, the kind that steals your breath and makes your bones hollow. My brother Michael cleared his throat and asked, "Is there anything else, counselor?" His grin, so polite, so venomous, split the silence like a knife. I told myself, "Stay calm, Clara." But inside, a storm was rising, grief, fury, disbelief, all mingling in a bitter swirl. My mother squeezed my hands so tightly I thought she'd break a bone, her eyes were pools of unshed tears, and I could taste her heartbreak on my tongue, tangy and sharp. And yet, through the tears blurring my vision, I caught sight of the lawyer's hand twitching, a small movement, almost imperceptible. Was that hesitation? A second envelope? My pulse pounded like deafening applause, and I leaned in, holding my breath. The funeral attendees, our extended family, friends, neighbors, they all leaned in too. The preacher vanished behind stained glass and ancient hymns, and all I could see was that envelope, the weight of possibility. Then the lawyer cleared his throat again, louder this time, and said, almost inaudibly, "Not so fast," and I swear, for a split second, my world rewrote itself. That phrase, "not so fast," wasn't just words, it was lifeline, a crack in the glass ceiling, an invitation to fight back. But my brother's smiles faltered. I caught the flicker, that moment where their confidence cracked, if just for an instant. I told myself, don't even think of backing down. So I lifted my chin, wet eyes shining, and waited. Because this was only the beginning. I'm still shaking as I speak these words. After the "not so fast" dropped into the air, the lawyer, Mr. Jennings, a tall man with silver hair and the kind of voice that sounds harmless, like a parent reading bedtime stories, opened that mysterious envelope with deliberate slowness. Every eye in the room followed his hands, trembling slightly, peeling back the paper like it held a promise, or a verdict. I felt like I could taste metal in my mouth, the air gone stale, thick with anticipation. Inside was a letter, folded and creased like something that had lived in a secret pocket of a trunk for decades. He unfolded it, reading in a voice that shook just a bit, "In the event that Clara is ever denied as a beneficiary, this letter shall stand as the true expression of my wishes." Pause, because I swear I felt my heart stop. A second envelope, hidden from sight, a legal safety net, designed not for show, but for me. My brothers, who moments ago seemed smugly confident, now grew pale. I watched jealousy flicker in Michael's eyes, but there was also fear that the facade of control might be cracking. My chest pounded. The entire room felt like it was swinging on a tightrope between justice and malice. The letter continued, and I hereby bequeath to Clara the entirety of my personal effects, the house, the savings account, and the rare artwork she always loved. Each word sounded more surreal than the last. I could feel tears springing, not just from sadness, but from a slow-burning sense of vindication. Flashes of childhood flooded me, my father teaching me to ride a bike in the backyard, his voice laughing in the wind, him encouraging me through every mistake, telling me, "You belong here, always." And now, in this stained glass sanctuary of sorrow, his voice whispered again through paper and ink, "You were always meant to be seen, always meant to belong." My knees felt weak, but I planted them firmly. Michael's lips pressed into a thin line. My other brother, David, looked like he wanted to sink into the carpet. I could sense the family's equilibrium cracking wide open. Then the lawyer added, voice even, "This letter supersedes any other instructions if the primary beneficiaries refuse or revoke their share." Lawyers say that last part in a monotone, but I swear I heard thunder in his words. The room shifted, friends and relatives exchanged glances, the preacher cleared his throat, uncertain. My mother's hand trembled in mine, and I whispered, "Dad trusted me." And she nodded, tears shining, her gaze saying more than any words ever could. Every syllable echoed, betrayal, heartbreak, justice, reclaiming what was always mine, though stolen by those who should have protected me. In that moment I realized something profound. Feeling erased made me notice who I really was, what I stood for, and who I had to become to fight back. I swallowed hard, my voice low but steady. "Dad, he always believed in me. That means more than this room, more than their pretenses." I held the letter close, like a lifeline, like a sacred promise, and all at once, the air cleared. It was no longer about being erased, it was about being recognized. My brothers shot me cold looks, but something changed. No, someone changed. My tears dried, replaced by a fire that felt like clarity. I stood, breathing, gripping that paper as if it were a torch. And in that flooded church, in that moment of final words and echoes of grief, I reclaimed my place. Not because they gave it back, because I never lost it. Now, the tension in the room morphed into something else, resignation? Frantic damage control? I caught Michael's hand tremble as he reached for the envelope, but the lawyer held it tight, as though guarding my father's legacy, not theirs. It felt like watching dominoes fall in slow motion. Someone's proud smile dropped, someone else's shoulders slumped, and my breath steadied with each passing second. Looking out at the faces in that room, I won't name names, but those cousins who always looked down on me, the aunt who whispered cruel jokes, the uncle who nodded smugly, I realized their disbelief wasn't just about inheritance. It was about underestimation. But here I was, holding more than paper. I held truth, clarity, and a father's unwavering faith. And that matters more than any grip they had on money or property. The preacher, bless him for waiting, cleared his throat awkwardly, his sermon forgotten. You could feel the weight of expectation shift. They'd expected compliance, tears, retreat. Instead, I took a step forward. My knees shook, but I stood tall. "This isn't just about money or property," I said, voice cracking and powerful at once. "It's about dignity, about being seen, about honoring someone who believed in me. And nothing will erase that." Silence followed, heavy as velvet. My brothers turned away. The lawyer slid the letter into a confidential folder. And then, the funeral ended. The coffin lowered. The final notes of the eulogy drifted into the air, replaced by murmurs and the slap of rain on pavement. People came to offer condolences, or feigned offers. I nodded, gracious enough, hollow enough. In the parking lot, away from whispered gossip, I wrapped my arms around my mother. She said softly, her voice breaking, "You did good. You were his pride." And in that moment, I felt a shift, not just in inheritance, but in what legacy really means: integrity, love, presence. Money fades. Memory doesn't. When I got home, I sat in my father's old study, where his world lived in his books and papers, and I opened that folder with trembling fingers. Inside was the letter and also a recorded note, in his handwriting: "No matter what they say, you are my daughter. 99% of the world will try to define you, but I define you. You are enough." I couldn't breathe for a moment. And then I laughed, bitter, relieved, unstoppable laughter that echoed in the silent room. Because he knew what I had to fight for, he made sure I could win. It's been a few days now. The house is silent except for the hum of the air conditioner, a sharp contrast to the chaos of that day. But inside me, everything is loud, with relief, pride, sorrow, and an undeniable sense of victory. I keep that letter close, folded in my wallet, burned into my soul. Today, I woke up and walked through the house, my house now, because that's what it is. I walked past the hallway photos where I'm laughing as a kid, past the study with his old desk, past the light coming through the window in just the right way. And I whispered, "Thank you, Dad, for never forgetting me, even when they tried to." And I meant it. More than I ever could say. My brothers haven't spoken much. I'm told they're consulting lawyers, perhaps planning disputes, but I don't cringe anymore. Because I know the truth is on my side. And more importantly, I know the one who matters most already believed in me. I hold that belief now like a shield. I've cried and I've laughed. I've felt grief at the loss of my father, and rage at their betrayal, and a strange comfort in knowing they underestimated me. But here's the thing: staying erased is easy. Reclaiming your voice, that's what changes everything. It's messy, it's painful, it's raw. But oh, it's powerful. So to you, listening right now, maybe you've also been cut out, by family, by friends, by circumstance. Maybe you've been told you don't deserve a seat at the table, or that you're not enough. Let me tell you something: that's their fear, not your truth. Hold on to what people of love and integrity leave behind, not just assets, but affirmations. Your worth isn't decided by petitions or inheritance. It's illuminated by those who knew you, and sometimes by the ones who tried to erase you, and failed. If this story resonated, if you've ever been that cut-off person who came back stronger, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your story. And if you want more emotional roller coaster narratives, hit subscribe. Share this story with someone who needs to see they're not invisible. Because this story ends not with tears, but with revival. As for me, I'm walking forward, heart heavy with grief, but light with the promise of love that no one can deny. And until I speak again, remember, "Not so fast" isn't just a phrase, it's a rebellion. And sometimes that's all you need to win.